Hey guys, welcome. Welcome to my late night live. I've been trying to go live for a while, but Jackson was giving me a hard time to go to sleep, and some things, you don't want to, all my lives, I don't want, somebody in the background interrupting and stuff. Hey, Dry Bob. Still gotta laugh every time I see that. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, I just wanted to, do a late night live because I did a little live earlier and I deleted it by mistake. I don't know how, but yeah. So I just figured I'd come out on a late night vibe since he just fell asleep, you know. So I was gonna get into the like a kind of news update, but it's kind of late for that. So I'll do that tomorrow, and I can do like more of a talk, a late night talk amongst adults. Um, so it's officially after dark. Nah, that's a picture I took earlier. That's a picture I took earlier. I'm in my bed next to Jackson sleeping. But that was the sky from today. Because I did a little live earlier and I deleted it by mistake. Yeah. So I said, let me come on, make up the time. Yeah. I said, let me make up some time that I freaking erased that live. I went live because I hadn't gone live all day and then only to erase it by mistake. Psst, I don't know how that happened. So yeah, I was gonna talk about some news that's been happening, but it's late night, so I'll talk about something else. Um, a lot of us like to talk about dating and red flags, so we can do that. So let's talk about something that's, you know, get into something that's real, the red flags and green flags. Because listen, we've all been through situations where we ignored what we knew was wrong and ended up learning the hard way. Now, tonight is not going to be heavy, because I was planning something else. But the news part, that's better in the daytime, you know. So it's just going to be fun, relatable, and maybe, maybe even a little bit healing, depending on your situation. Um, yeah, so drop a red flag or a red box or something red if you've ever ignored a red flag, or a green box or flag, whatever you could find, if you're the green flag somebody fumbled. Hey, Raw. Facts. Green flags, he includes you in future plans. Yeah, I think everybody at one time or another has ignored red flags. How are you, little sis, Raw? Hope you're doing good. Are you back from your little getaway? You was turned up. I saw you all turned up. I look a mess. Sorry. So is J. Lou the only one that ignored red flags before? I know it's late. This is gonna just be one of those, cozy talk to me like we're on FaceTime kind of nights. So if you're watching the replay, you can still comment your thoughts later. I always go through the chat after. That's good. That's good that you have fun. I miss those little getaways with my significant other. I need to find somebody eventually. I need to get my shit together so I could actually want that. I know I don't want to stay single for the rest of my life, but I know I'm not ready now. So, we all know what a red flag, but what even is a red flag is not always obvious. Sometimes it's not, loud or, toxic right away. It usually sneaks up on you unless you're with a narcissist. It starts from the beginning. You're just not aware if you've never dealt with them before. It's that gut feeling that says that something's off. Yeah, so let's start with the like classics, the red flags we basically all know about, but still try to paint some green sometimes. The classic red flags. I'm not looking for anything serious right now. Believe them. Oh my goodness. That's one red flag that I've definitely thought that I could change before. And in the long run, realized I should have listened. You know, I should have believed them. You don't treat that as a challenge or a project. That's exactly what I did. Treated it as a challenge or a project that I could change their mind. If someone tells you what they want, respect it and decide if that fits you. Don't expect them to change their mind. Yeah, definitely. Raw said, "Did you see my long community wall post to my last time addressing the foolery, but I had to make it clear on the front end since he didn't want to clear it up on the back end." Was that today or yesterday? If it was yesterday, I think I saw it. Yeah, that's crazy. He just in all the women's business. Like, what's up with that? Like, oh my goodness. He's the only man up like there that actually comes up, on his channel to get in women's business. At least the other woman is in just in the chat being a mod. But um, you know, but that one you can't take serious. He never even had a girlfriend. But him, come on now. Why are you gonna go on your channel to get into women's business? Like, oh no, I didn't see it. I'll check it out. It's ridiculous at this point. Let me check it out. Yeah, but it's ridiculous, you know? So, exactly. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Jaylee said, "We always think we can change them. A man has literally told me he didn't want a relationship, but his actions were different, made me feel as if he did." Like RH, that, yeah, that is so true. Yep. They call you every day. They want you to hang out. Even if you get to the point that you're staying over, all of a sudden they want you to stay over every day. They take you out, They bring you around their family, but they don't want a relationship. Yeah, I've definitely been there, you know. Hey Bill, how are you? Welcome in. Please double tap the screen to like this live or hit the thumbs up, whichever one's easier for you. Have you ever ignored red flags, Bill? Yeah, for real, right? Right, Jayla? It's crazy. I had this one, like, you don't want a relationship. We was, hanging out almost every single day, going out, going out to movies, dinner, this, that, romantic walks by the bridge and the water, and you don't want a relationship. Took me to his family's house, like, but you don't want a relationship. Yeah, I definitely let it last too damn long. Hey, Glenn. Yeah, but definitely when they say it, believe them. Yep. When they say I'm not looking for anything serious right now, definitely believe them. They just wanted you as a filler so they won't have a boring life. They wanted us to add some excitement to their life. But yeah, another red flag is inconsistency. Hot one day, cold the next. If you're constantly wondering where you stand, that's not chemistry, that's confusion. Healthy love doesn't make you anxious. If you always have to guess how you feel, that's your answer. You know, People that take forever to answer you back or something like that, no, making you all confused. Yep. Uh, Another one is a person that says their ex was crazy. How many times have you met anybody, even if it wasn't somebody that you messed around with? There's always a guy or girl that says that their ex was crazy, you know? So you'd be like, all of them, every single one of them. If every story they tell makes them the victim, run. Definitely. I definitely learned that from my Jackson's dad. Oh my goodness. I be telling him, but I be telling him to his face. I'm like, stop playing the victim. You making it seem like these girls are so bad, but look at you. Like I let him know. He be like, damn, you don't have to be so. I'm like, hello, that's why we didn't last. I gotta let you know. So maybe you'll change. So you'll find the right one. Okay, Glenn. Drive safe. But thanks for listening. Yeah. There's always an ex that was crazy, whether it's from a female or a male. They always say their ex was crazy. you know? I I I dated somebody, which is this one's dad. So he called everyone crazy. His family, his friends, his co-workers, like everyone, you know? And then, definitely he was going to try to put me on that list, but no, I didn't let it get to that point. He showed himself. JLu said she had one before and left so quick. I was like, my car too much for it to get messed up. You liked your car too much for it to get messed up outside your home. I have too much to lose. And that and that means you're probably fooling with her. Yeah, cuz if they really are crazy, why are they still crazy if you're broken up, you know? That means that they're still feeding them something or still giving them their time and energy. Sometimes they don't, but most of the time it's that they're still giving them something to make them crazy. Like, may she rest in peace, like Ramika, you know? And nowadays it's scary today. Like, now there's a lot to worry about when you go out and dating because a lot of people don't have, good mental health. So you have to be very careful. Yeah, leaving them with hope. Yeah, exactly. Like, you got to be careful these days. Another one is their phone always on silent or face down. Oh my goodness. You know, they're hanging out with you. Their their phone is on the table or whatever, face down. They get a message. They open it up away from you. It's always on vibrate, no alerts, so you don't hear. Well, they think you don't hear it, or they don't want you to hear it, but you hear it anyway. Yeah, that's so obvious. All of a sudden the phone rings or something. They have to use the bathroom, or or yeah, it's work or something like that. Or they walk out to their car. Oh yeah, I left something in the car. I'll be back. It's always it's always the phone etiquette for me. You can't even look at it without them flipping it over like it's a classified document almost, right? Like, what? I'm just looking at your phone. What you got to hide? Really, J. Lou? Your current man is not like that. So, well, I hope not. Please double tap the screen, hit that like button, please. We're talking about red flags tonight. If you've ever gone through a relationship with red flags that you ignore, hey, Sea Life, how are you? Are you done with your drive? I saw you. You came to my city. You drove all the way up here from where you live. I say all the way over here because, us people from the Bronx, we think Far Rockaway is far. Yeah, welcome, welcome. I'm usually on live either with my 5-year old, or I'm talking about, you know, things that happen with content creators. J. Lou said, but there are times he will set it down upside down. I'm like, why is it turned over? He will say out of habit because I do at work. He says all you have to do is turn it over. Well, that's good. That's good. Oh, that's cool. My 5-year old's my youngest. I have all boys, obviously, because of my name. But I have two old boys already. 24 and 18. My 5-year old is my youngest and my last. I'm crazy. Yes, I started over. My 18-year old just turned 18 last week. But yeah, I know you get PTSD from your past, J. Lou, but also because he travels for work, right? So you be like, I wonder. But nah, you gotta have that trust in him if everything's all good. Yeah. Between my 18-year-old and my 5-year-old, yeah, 13 years apart. I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy. I was almost I was almost free. It's all good. He's the missing piece to my puzzle. That's what I say. It was meant to be. I was meant to have him. They say 3 is a charm, right? Another red flag is they can't take accountability. Yeah, we know many people that can't take accountability, and that's definitely one of the red flags. If every problem somehow becomes your fault, that's basically manipulation. You know, you you talk, you try to talk, you're nagging. Not only guys, girls have red flags too, but mostly guys. Now let me stop. But I'm not. Hey Karen, how are you? Welcome to the late night chat. But yeah, there's a lot of red flag. I know, a lot of us have seen been with people with red flags, and we've also ignored them, because like I was saying, we want to ignore them because we hope that we could change them. Love bombing early, that's another one. You just met and they're already saying that you're the one. Baby, I'm trying to remember your last name. Like, no, dude, no. All of a sudden, I should have known. Love bombing early, ask you to be their girlfriend after 3 days of dating. I mean, sometimes it does last. Sometimes it does last. I'm not going to lie. Because I've seen relationships that last like that. But, you know, you do have to pay attention to the red flags. Love bombing is a big one. Okay, Karen, drive safely. Is he far? Do you have to drive far? Please double tap the screen to hit the like button or hit the thumbs up, whichever one's easier for you. They make you feel like you're the only one. You know, they're giving you gifts early, taking you out, being there financially for you. Just love bombing the F out of you. They started early, but then they isolate you slowly, little by little. It starts with, I just want you all to myself, and ends with, you're not seeing your friends anymore, or no, you're not hanging out this weekend, or she's a, 3 or 4, or they want to start talking about your friends, or you tell your family too much things, so you know I don't want you to go out. My ex, that's what he used to do. He used to, first of all, one of my friends, she's like an angel. Oh my goodness. She doesn't drink, she doesn't smoke, she don't do none of that stuff. She barely had any boyfriends in her life. And he would have an issue with me going out with her. And then one of my friends, I mean, she was like a little loose, but if I'm always home, we just had a damn baby. You're gonna start being jealous over this girl that I would that we were actually trying to hook up with one of his friends, and then all of a sudden, she was a 304. He didn't want me with her. Talking mad shit. But she's a whatever. But we're trying to hook her up with your friend. That don't make any sense. Yeah, like come on now. Hey, break room. Thank you, thank you. Yes, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Please double tap that screen. They try to keep you away from everybody, your friends, your family, you know? In some cases, they even talk crap about the people you work with. God forbid there's a guy that works there with you. And some even get low to the point that they make jokes at your expense if they tease you, but it always hits too close to home, you know, the not so funny way, the part that feels disrespectful. Most of the time, it is disrespectful. Like especially the people that think they like the like God's gift, you know. There's men like that, but there's women like that too that think they're God's gift, and like you're lucky to have them. Okay, I get it, Karen. I get it. I get it. Yeah, so just drive safely. Is there traffic out there or is it pretty empty on the road? And sometimes red flags don't look bad at first because they come wrapped in attention. We think, oh, he just cares. But caring doesn't mean controlling. Love shouldn't cost you your peace. Love doesn't mean stop talking to this person, or if you love me, you'll stay home tonight. You know, what's out there for you? What's out? You could go shopping with me. I could take you shopping. Like, no, I just need a little break. Oh, okay. No traffic, but lots of deer and foxes on the road. Oh no, be careful. I wonder why so many on the road. Dang. If you're watching this on the replay, think about your biggest red flag experience and let me know in the chat what's your biggest red flag experience. That one moment that made you go, I should have listened to myself from the beginning. What was I thinking? All these red flags that I've been saying, I've definitely been through them. And like I said, you think you really could change a person, or they're gonna change on their own when they see that they're acting a fool for no reason. Okay, yeah, yeah, we see other stuff on the road here. No deers and foxes in the city. Unless you're uptown, you might see some raccoons, some well, it depends, because there are some places in where I'm at that you see those kind of things, but it's more uptown, like where all the houses and stuff are. Yeah, when you're young, you don't pay attention to the red flags. Nope, because you're too busy, being love bombed. You're too busy being love bombed, or that lust or whatever it is. Especially if it's your first relationship. Boy, my first relationship, I was too young for a damn relationship. I wish somebody was strong enough to stop me from that BS. I had no business dating, and it was an older guy. I had no business. That boy, had so many red flags, and I was so, ignorant to it, you know. And he definitely love bombed me, made me feel like I was special and all that. Sure, I dealt with a lot at a young age, but that definitely taught me a lot though. A lot of the things I went through with him, I didn't do it with anybody else. Karen says, even when you're older, many choose not to see them. You always hope you're wrong. Yep, that is so true. That is so true. That is definitely true. So let's talk about what healthy looks like, the green flags. You know, let's give credit to the good ones, the people who actually bring peace instead of that chaos. I hope you guys are with people that have a lot of green flags, especially you ladies and gentlemen that have been in long relationships. Hopefully, you see a lot of green flags because you have been with them, for a long time. But I know some people just get into the motion of things that, you know, and some people feel like it's too late. I already been with you 14 years. I already been with you 15 years, and you guys just deal with it. But a lot of the green flags are consistency, not just in the beginning. I'm talking months, years, when life gets real, that they still show up. Consistency is so important. Somebody that's always there for you when you need them, that they're there to talk to you, that you're able to talk to them and actually have a conversation with them, and they don't blame everything on you. Hey, Truth. Hey, hey, hey. Thanks for coming through. We've been talking about red flags. I was talking about all the different kind of red flags, and J. Luke, Karen, and I been talking about it. J. Luke been with somebody that had a lot of red flags. She has PTSD, but yeah. But I've been with people that have red flags too. That you definitely ignore them because you think it's gonna change, or you hope that you're wrong. That maybe you're just a little crazy until they call you crazy. Hey, Octavia. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thanks for joining. Please double tap the screen to like this live. If you're on a desktop or computer or laptop, please hit the thumbs up. Yeah, so we were talking about red flags, and now I was just transitioning to green flags. The first one I talked about was consistency. The second is accountability. They can admit when they're wrong. There's no gaslighting involved, no blaming you, no blaming others, just real communication. Somebody that you can just talk to about, how you're feeling, and they don't try to make you feel like you're arguing or tell you that you're arguing with them or nagging them, you know? Real communication, that healthy communication. Truth says, whoo, child. We are big sometimes on giving people the benefit of the doubt, even when we see the signs, and eventually we are left in doubt. Yes. Yep, 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 definitely. We ignore the signs because we think, they're going to change. Either that we can change them, or that they love us so much that they're going to want to change. But most of the time, they do not change. Another green flag is they listen to understand, not to respond. There's something so attractive about someone who doesn't cut you off mid sentence, that actually listens, you know, and that knows how to respond the correct way and doesn't talk like at you, that they talk to you. It takes healing and self reflection, reflecting on our part and learn to get away. Yes, 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 yes. Hey yo, the goofies are here. Woo-hoo-hoo. Thank you. Hit that like, hit that, keep hitting those laughing emojis. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Michelle. Welcome in. Thanks for joining. So yeah, another green flag is they listen to understand. You know, I love being with somebody that actually listens when you talk to them and doesn't try to cut you off, that they're talking to you, not at you, and they understand that you are just trying to get your point across and that you're not nagging, that you're not, that you're just telling them how you feel. Also, emotional maturity is another green flag. They don't weaponize silence or throw tantrums. They communicate. Some people, that's another one that's a red flag. People that are not emotionally mature, that throw tantrums, or when you want to talk to them, they tell you that you're arguing with them, and then all of a sudden they don't want to talk, or they throw those tantrums. People with, the green flags have that emotional maturity. They know how to communicate. Yeah, truth. That's how it is. That's how it is. It's been like that for the last few days, but yep, I just keep going. Whatever. Karen said, my wise older sister always told me that a leopard never changes his spots, he only camouflages them. Yes, that is so true. That's right. Your sister is very wise, very wise. They try to, make you think that, sometimes they try to make you think that they have changed, but nope, they have not. They're just camouflaging it. Yes, emotional intelligence is key in any relationship. You're right about that. Communication is the key always, you know? You have to have that communication and know how to set those boundaries in the communication. In communication, they also respect boundaries. Green flag, another green flag is respecting boundaries. You say you need time, they give you the space and don't make you feel guilty. Like if you just want to be alone, for a few, if you're living together, everybody deserves your me time. So, respecting boundaries, your partner understands that and gives you that space, you know? If you have kids with them, they'll take the kids, let you just enjoy your alone time, or even tell you, go ahead, go for a walk, or, go get your nails done, or go get your hair done, whatever it is, or, here, you deserve a spa day, you know? Let me know anytime you need that time. I'll give you the space and not make you feel guilty like you're, cheating on them or going to meet somebody, right? Yeah, dating is definitely hard these days, no matter how old you are. Yeah, that's a fact. These I've been saying these This dating scene is not it. Is not. Is very. When I'm ready to date again, it's gonna be so hard for me. I already know. I hope that the one, the right one, finds me, and that I don't have to, look so hard for somebody. Cause I really don't have that. If I keep having trouble, I will just land up staying single, and I'm too young to stay single for the rest of my life. That's that's beautiful. I love to see love, you know. I love to see people that are in an actual green flag relationship, especially you've been together a long time, you know how to communicate, you love each other. I love that. I know a lot of women that are in healthy relationships, and that's a beautiful thing. Also they're supportive, right? You're in a good relationship, they're supportive, they don't feel competitive, whether it's um what you do for work. If you're doing well at work, you get promotions. They don't feel like they're in competition to be better than you. Or even a car, they're not in competition to have a better car than you. They cheer for you without feeling threatened. That's another green flag in a relationship. And it must feel real good when you have somebody that's by your side, so supportive, that pushes you actually to do better, because they know that's what you want. you know if you tell them that you want more money, or you're going for that raise, that they're pushing you towards it, and letting and just being supportive, letting you know that you can do it, that you're gonna do it. Yeah, I know. Sometimes you have to go through a few to find the right one. Yeah. Oh, brother. But when you're in your 40s, it's so different. It's so different than when you were younger. Especially you're more conscious. So it's like when you feel like you're going through, you don't want to go through a few, because then you feel bad about yourself. Like, you just don't want to be with a whole bunch of people. But that first one most of the time is not gonna be the one for you. So you just gotta put those feelings aside. That's why it's called dating, right? You're dating, you know, with intention, dating to find the one. Hey Ryan, what's going on? What you doing up? You woke up already? You went to sleep and now you're waking up, or you haven't gone to sleep yet? Which one? Cause you was up early this morning, so you probably fell asleep early, right? Another red flag is consistency between those words and actions. If they say they care, they show it. You know, they know that you're feeling sick. You're you're laying down, but you know you're usually the one that takes care of the house. You go downstairs and realize that they wash the dishes. Or if it's a male with a female, that the car needed to be washed or something like that, she goes and takes your car for a wash. Or even something as simple as getting your oil changed for you, if they heard you say that you needed your oil change. Just co- just consistency, you know and actions. Okay, Karen, have a good night. Drive safely. Thanks for passing through. I appreciate the support. Another one is someone who has hobbies, friends, a life outside of you that, that's actually a blessing, not a threat. Somebody that, you know, has a life that and is okay with you having a life. You go hang out with your friends, they go hang out with their friends, or they go hang out with their family, you go hang out with your friends or your family, you know, that they go for a self-care day, just fine, and they don't expect you to be attached to them. That's definitely not a threat at all. That's a blessing. Having their own thing to do, even if they have their own routine, or if they want to, run errands on their own. Have someone that has their own pace is definitely a green flag. That gives you both of you time to do your own thing. And then, at the end of it, you guys could get together and have your own space together. You ever dated someone who had no peace, always in chaos, always arguing with somebody? That energy rubs off, you know. Um I did a lot of these things. The red flags were from my ex, my last ex. You know, everything was always he was arguing with. Even now that we're broken up, it's always something. And like I'm his one of his go-to people that he always comes to tell me whatever he's going through. Like he feels like he could talk to me about anything. So I still, even though we broke up, I still have to listen to the chaos that goes on in his life. You know, one of the reasons why I listen sometimes is because his mom was his go-to person, and his mom passed away a couple years ago. So, you know, I try to let him vent sometimes because I know any other time he would have went to his mom to vent. So that always makes me feel like bad for him, and because there's no like, romantic feelings involved, I give him that opportunity to just let it out. But, you know, he's always arguing with somebody. It's always somebody. If it's not one of his family members, it's somebody at work, or, you know, he's driving in the car, he'll be on the phone like and then I hear him cursing somebody out, or I'm like, you better be careful. You're gonna get into something someday. But that energy does rub off, and I'd be telling him you need to relax, especially when you're with Jackson. Okay, J. Lou. Yeah, I was finishing off the green flags. Yeah, I was saying the emotional maturity. They respect boundaries. They're supportive, not competitive. They're consistent with their words and actions, and they have their own peace. You know, they have hobbies, friends, a life outside of you. You know, and they don't treat it as and they let you have that as well. So that's a blessing that you guys are able to have a life together and outside. Like you get to hang out with friends, he gets to hang out if you're that type that hangs out. But even if you're not that type and you let them hang out, that's a blessing, definitely not a threat, especially when there's trust involved. And then I was saying that if you ever dated somebody who had no peace, and I was saying my ex definitely didn't, and does not have peace. He always arguing with somebody, whether it's a family member, somebody at his job, or somebody random in the street. I'm always telling him that he needs to be careful because he's gonna bump into the wrong person one day. And I always be throwing it at him. I'm the type that I be telling him, "Oh, please, you're all mouth. Why are you always saying this and saying that? I have never saw you fight. You always talking crap, but you have never fought. Like since I've known you, you have never fought anybody, and you talk so much crap. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, and there are crazy people that you don't know, and then he be driving, so things happen during road rage and stuff like that. So you gotta really be careful. And then sometimes he be with Jackson, and I'll be like, no, you need to chill out. Like, don't be starting nothing, especially with my son in the car. I once dated somebody that who was just calm. he he was like the opposite. No games, no confusion. At first I was like, why is this person so quiet? Then I realized that was what peace was like. But I was so used to the drama that calm felt boring. You always want the opposite of what you get. Why is that? Somebody is too nice. Somebody somebody is too peaceful. Somebody is too quiet. All of a sudden, that's not what you want. They're too quiet. Like, I guess because a little bit of toxic, or I don't know, I shouldn't say toxic, but that little bit of excitement is fun. Yeah. When you come from toxic, calm is toxic. Yeah. And boring. So yeah. So what do you think your top three green flags are? The things you need to feel safe and valued. I definitely like the um emotional maturity, of course. I love the support and that they listen to understand, that you're able to communicate. Communication is the key of any relationship. Those are my three. Yep. Yeah, those are good ones. In a relationship, I think those three lead to a great relationship, and especially, even if you love each other so much and you enjoy your time together so much, I think everybody needs their separate time as well, just so they could remember who they are by themselves. Some people are together all the time that they forget who they are separately. But people, you'd always need to know who you are, remember who you are without somebody. It took a lot of work and patience for you and your partner to get it together with the communication, and we're still a work in progress. I hear that, but as long as you guys are working together, you know, to do the right thing for each other, that's all that matters, you know? So, funny red flags. The funny red flags, the ones that aren't breakers, that make you think right away, hell no, you know? Oh my goodness. I mean, this is more when I guess when you're younger, but a mattress on the floor, no frame, no shame. Hell no. Not nowadays. Maybe when you were younger you deal with that kind of crap, but now you'd be like, hell no. I left something in the car, or still has their high school exes pictures on Facebook. I don't know what you need that for. I mean, I don't know why that's nah. That's not a funny one. The ones that say they're private, but they're taking pictures and posting everything. Oh yeah, you're real private. What about the people? I don't think it's a funny red flag. I think it's a one that you gotta pay attention. One that has like 50 million pairs of shoes or sneakers, especially if it's like the Jordans or whatever, or of as a female if they have up to date sneakers, or if they're shoe people, they have them the newest heels and shit like that, but you don't have no bed sheets that match. You just mix matching everything. That is a definite red flag. Another one is they call you baby, but they don't even remember your favorite color. They don't even remember your middle name. Your like 2 years ago, your friend said she went to a guy's actually in New York, and his bed was on the floor. Oh my god! But here's the kicker: she went back for another trip to. Oh my goodness! What the heck? That's funny. Oh my goodness! It's not only when you're younger. People in their 40s and 30s still do that. Oh no! Oh, he must have had something good for her to go back. People that say they hate drama, but their life looks like a reality show, always in the drama. Oh my god, I know a lot of people like that. They say they hate drama, but they're always in the drama. They're always arguing with something going on with their friends, or always arguing with family members. Like literally always drama. Yeah, that's funny. My ex is like that too. That's another one. He's always saying he doesn't like drama, but always in drama, arguing with his friends, arguing with his father, arguing with his sister, but you don't like drama. Another one you gotta pay attention to is if you with somebody and they say they're still hurt by their ex, and it's like 7 years later. Like what the heck? You didn't get over that in 7 years? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it definitely must have been amazing. She said, I'm getting a hotel for. Oh, she wasn't on the. She didn't want to be on the floor this time. She said, I'm getting a hotel this time. But that even that's a red flag. Why he didn't get a hotel? Oh my goodness. Yeah, red flag race. And sometimes when it's good, you deal with the with stuff that you usually wouldn't. See life. What you mean? What you mean? Oh yeah, oh yeah, all right. All right, all right. Yeah. Exactly. 7 years later, let it go. Like what the hell? Yeah, that guy definitely had a lot of red flags. And then she she was behind them renting the hotel. Yeah, no. Red flag, red flag. He was probably the one that I said also that has probably like the 50 million sneakers, Jordans and all that crap, and but his mattress is on the floor. And his mattress was on the floor, and he probably had either no bed sheets or his bed sheets did not match. So he had two red flags, three red flags, all in one. Yeah, 7 years. Go home, Roger. Yeah, that's definitely a damn red flag. Like, what the hell? Even I don't. To me, even 4 years. That's like me. I get with somebody, and telling them I'm still hurt from my ex 4 years ago. No, thank goodness I am over it though. And then if you get with somebody that they know you have kids, but they don't like dogs, they don't like kids, they don't like brunch, they don't like going out to breakfast, they don't like going out to movies. Like what? What do you like, dude or girl? You know? Oh, J. Lou. Oh my God, that's a oh my God, that is definitely a wonderful red flag story. Not only was his mattress on the floor, he had a roommate and his bed was in the same living room. Or his bed was in the living room. Okay, okay. So the guy that she was seeing, his room was the living room. So that's where his bed was. That's what you're saying, right? Oh my God. Yeah, she really liked him, didn't she? That's crazy. Oh my God. Wow. What about the ones that, that they have potential or they had potential, but then their lifestyle screams red flag? They have a good job, they have great you communicate well with them, but then, they're like 35 or older with no headboard. Like, excuse me, sir, where's your headboard? Like, sir, please, ma'am, please. The little things really tell our people. Also, another one is how they treat waiters, how they react when things don't go their way, and how they talk to others. But sometimes the way they talk to waiters does not equate to anything, because I know people that are very nice and everything to waiters and stuff, and they had 50 million red flags. So, yeah, no. So you think I'm gonna say four things. Tell me if it's a red flag or a green flag. Still friends with an ex. You think you can still be friends with an ex? Is that a red flag or a green flag? I think so too. I think so too. But is your baby daddy considered like a friend or whatever? Cuz what about if you're cordial with your baby daddy? Is that still a red flag? Because, I'm very cordial with my older kid's dad. Hey, Stardust. Thanks for passing by. How are you tonight? Dang, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here. I just noticed that. All right, so you could, but cordial, we're cordial, but we actually like could hang out, not like hang out alone. Like, I don't hang out alone with him, but like on holidays, I know it's weird, but maybe because I don't have a boyfriend. But like on holidays, when I go to my mom's house, he comes by to eat still. Like, even though we've been broken up for like 10 years or so, or more than that. But my mom still, he still has a relationship with my mom too. I guess that makes it complicated. I guess that makes it complicated. Yeah, you don't think that's weird? Yeah. We're able to hang out like after my son's graduation, me, my mom, him, his daughter that he had prior to our relationship. We all went out to eat and we were just having a good time. On holidays, he still comes over, he eats, we have a couple of drinks, then he goes home. But it's not like we actually go on drives together and go, hang out. So I guess that's still not the same. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And we definitely still respect each other, though. We won't talk about, like, well, I haven't dated in 4 years, but since we've broke up, he has never even spoke about another woman with me, or and like even my best friend, because my best friend is with his brother. So she even tells me that that she doesn't even know if he's been around another woman, which is crazy. But anyway, so doesn't post you online, is that a red flag or a green flag, or you think he's just being private? Doesn't post you online, red flag or green flag? Nah, we're definitely not. Nah, that ship has sailed. That ship has definitely sailed. We already outgrew each other. Like with me, I was with him mostly all of my 20s. So, you know, and now I'm in my early 40s. No, definitely not. And we've been broken up for like 10 years. But nah, that ship has sailed. So definitely not romantic feelings. So yes, yeah, it's okay to be cordial with that part. Yeah. But if you don't have nothing tying you together, like no children or no family, then yes, I say still friends with an ex is a red flag. If you don't have children together or anything like that. But the Tender T, hey, thanks for joining. Tender T says, me and my kids' dads are friends. I love their wives. I hang out with their wives. Oh, that's cool. See, that's really cool. I love people that can have that, relationship after you break up. Lu, your man has no kids, but he was married. We were actually married at the same time for the same amount of years. Wow. She would text him every now and then. I didn't like it. Me and my ex-husband have a great relationship. He is remarried with a 2-year-old. Wow. Did your man's ex get married again? And did she stop texting him? So he never wanted children, or it just never happened? Hit that like button, guys. Double tap the screen, please. Thank you. Aw, that's sad. Oh, okay. So she's still feeling it. Yeah, so she's still feeling it. Did she get remarried or in a relationship? That's sad. That is sad though. Oh, okay. And how long you guys been together now? Yeah, that's sad. A stillborn. So she went full term to have a stillborn and then she miscarried or vice versa. Wow. Yeah, that's sad. You guys been together 9 years or they were together 9 years? If you guys been together 9 years, that's a long time already. Wow. Wow, that's a long time. No wonder. So you guys definitely know each other already. So another one I was saying, you think is a red flag or a green flag when somebody said what when somebody doesn't post you online if they have social media? Does not posting someone equal a red flag or a green flag? You didn't bring him around for a long time. Why do you say it's a disservice? Oh, like when they were younger, you didn't let him because they were younger at that time. So you didn't. So he didn't get to see the mommy side of you. See, that's good. No matter what, even years later, they, they have a great relationship. That's cool. So he still he doesn't he doesn't see the mommy side of you. He didn't get to see it when they were younger, but he still sees the mommy side of you, even though they're older. That's good. That's good. Everybody gets along. Yeah. Sometimes you do have to. That's what I said though. The next person I'm with, I'm not gonna bring them around for a while. Especially that Jackson's dad is in his life, like for real. Like he sees him almost every weekend. He comes at least one time a week during the week just to literally take him to school. He and is right across the street the school. So he'll literally come from his house just to cross the street with him to the school. So he's a good dad. But yeah, the next person he won't be around, you know. He won't be around for a while. So doesn't post you online. I think that it depends on the time, like how long you've been together. Like 6 years to 6 months to a year, I don't think that's a red flag. But after that year, then yes. No social media at all. I don't know, because some people just don't like social media. So I don't think it's really a red flag. But everything nowadays is social media. But I don't think I would take that as a red flag because some people just don't like social media. Yeah, that is true. They need to see that love. They need to see how a man is, how a man is supposed to treat the woman. Yeah. And how a man is supposed to be treated. Yes. You're right. You are right. And then he did have a girlfriend. And, they used to argue a lot in front of him. So he already hasn't seen a good relationship, because they used to argue. And I used to tell him, you can't be arguing in front of Jackson. He doesn't see that at home. So you need to chill out, wait until you drop him off, then argue all you want. But don't bring that around him because, I don't want him to think that that's how it goes. Yeah, he freaking argues with everybody. I tell you. I tell him sometimes. I tell him you need to go. Like he told me he goes to therapy, but I said I don't know. You need to go more then because I don't know. You have issues. You need to really open up to let it all out because I'd be telling him sometimes like you act like a miserable person. Yeah. I let him have it how it is. But that's what happened even in our relationship. I would tell him how is. I wouldn't like hold my tongue. Somebody had to tell him because when his mom was, alive, when we were together, she was alive. So he's a mama's boy. He used to tell her everything. Then she used to get into it. And, she used to enable him a lot. And I used to have to be the one to put him like bring him down off his high horse. Like, dude, no. I don't care what your mom says. Like, yeah, she's your mom, but she's not in our relationship. And I'm a little older than him. I was like 5 years older than him. So I'm like, no, I've been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? Jackson is his first kid. So, I already was a mom for a long time. And I'm like, no, dude. Like, I'm not the one. No, they actually broke up like I think like I don't know how long it's been, like a month and a half maybe. But now he's spiraling with that too. Now he finds every opportunity to drink. And then he'll tell me, and I'm like, that's not the way to deal with your feelings and your emotions. Now you're going to become an alcoholic? Like, come on. I'm like, you need to go back into the gym and use that as an outlet, not becoming a damn alcoholic. And it is in his family. His father is an alcoholic. So I tell him, you need to chill out, find another outlet for your feelings. I think they go to court soon because then she takes him to court. She's not letting him see his daughter right now because they had a daughter. She's not letting him see his daughter right now. She took it to the next level. Like, it's a whole bunch of crap he's going through. So I told him, join the damn gym. But he likes boxing, but he can't afford it because, it's more than a regular gym. But he pays child support to me. He pays child support to her, even though he doesn't see her. He's still doing the right thing and sending her money on his, when he gets paid and all that. So she doesn't have shit to say, you know? Just that she's mad at him and she's keeping him away from his daughter. But anyway, but I told him go to a regular gym then. Lift some weights. The hell. $15 a month, $20 a month, $25 a month, even if it's $30 a month. Just go. You need an outlet that's not liquor. Yeah, but he tells me that he goes to therapy, which I don't believe because he had an incident last year I won't even get on it because I won't get on it now because they'll use it against me. But he had an incident. Long story short, I told him either he go to therapy or he wasn't gonna see Jackson until he does. Because even when that happened, I was the person that he called, and I'm like, well, now you either go to therapy or you're not gonna see Jackson. But supposedly he started going to therapy from then. But I don't know. He be working too much. I'd be like, how you have time for therapy? I don't know. Yeah, she's the type that I'm the type that I don't care. Take this child anytime you want. I'm sure. I'm not gonna try to hurt you by taking away your kid. With none of my kids, I'm like, no, I never did that to their father. Like, no, you can have them whenever you want. I might not like you, but you can have your child. Yeah, so I hope he does too. He got a lot of issues that he needs to overcome. And I'm not a freaking licensed therapist. I could listen and all that, but I do have to set boundaries too, like. Exactly. I'd never stop you. You come on. That's why he literally sees him almost every weekend. Almost every weekend I'm free because that's when he's off on Saturdays. Like he has every Saturday off. So he picks him up Friday night if he had to work that Friday. And if he didn't have to work, he'll pick him up like after school and then he'll stay with him till Sunday morning. But almost every single weekend, unless he wants to do something on his own, which is rare, he's always with him. So can't knock him. And if she lets him see him, she would be free too. But she's trying to hurt him. And it is hurting him. And I see it. And I'm like, oh God. But whatever. That's on them. But red flags that are disguised as green, they're always checking in. They're jealous because they love you. They move fast. They apologize with gifts, and they say you're their entire world. Those are disguised as green because it sounds like they're caring, but it actually becomes more control. You know, they they're insecure. That instant attachment with moving fast, can be love bombing. And the gifts, you know, sometimes that lands up just being manipulation wrapped in roses, basically. Trying to apologize with gifts so that you can just try to forget about it. And of course saying that you're the entire world, they think that's cute and all, but then you feel like you're trapped because you're their whole world. If they don't have you anymore, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna feel? How are they gonna react? I used to mistake like chaos and a little bit of that toxicity for chemistry, because you argue, you don't have good loving, you know so you think that's chemistry, but it's not chemistry. It wasn't real, you know but peace doesn't just chase, it stays. It's not always arguing, then doing stuff to make you close again. That's just masking the issues, masking those red flags. Exactly. You'll end up thinking that arguing means love, you know? And it's good to hear because a lot of these young people, especially, they need to know that that's not love. Oh, Glenn, glad you got home safe. Oh, it's raining hard over there. You guys are having bad weather in the south, right? That's what Neil was saying, I think earlier or yesterday. But I'm glad you made it home safe. Somebody took away a like. I just had 20 likes. Now it says 19. Do you wind down when you get home, Glenn? Or do you go right to bed? MMG. Yeah, I've been on already an hour and a half. How are you? Were you taking a nap? All right, J. Lou. Good night. Thanks for staying with me the whole time. I appreciate you. I enjoyed our talk. When hopefully when you come in December, we'll talk face to face. Enjoy some of the city together. I love New York in December. Actually, that's the time that I actually could tolerate Manhattan around December, cause all the lights and all the and stuff. But yeah, good night, girl. Why you laughing, MMG? You was taking a nap, and I was talking about red flags and green flags, and we were just talking about things we've been through. Oh, okay. Yeah, you fell asleep. You fell asleep. Yeah, and I don't know what the hell's my problem. It's 1:14 a.m. But no, I just said because that's even though it was a short live, but I don't know how I did that, but I deleted the that little short live earlier. So, after Jackson fell asleep, I said, let me go live for a little while. An hour and a half later, here I am, still here. All right. Thanks for passing through. Have a good night. We'll talk tomorrow. I have some stuff to talk about. I already have it ready. I was going to talk about it tonight, but then it was late. So I'm like, let me just talk about some adult shit. But thanks for passing through. Everybody, please hit that like button. Double tap the screen. I appreciate you. Come tune in tomorrow. I'll be talking about some trending topics. The Texas mother, you know, what happened in Houston. Um, Two teens were unalive. Subway surfing as well here in New York. Yeah, and some other things that I'll put all into one live. So thank you, thank you, thank you for everybody that passed through. Red flag, red flag. No, let me stop. The red flag is in the chat. No, just kidding, just kidding. But yeah, I'll be talking about that, that Houston case about, the Texas mom unaliving her two of her children. And then two teen girls um suspected of subway surfing were found unalived here in New York. You know? So there are a lot of tragic incidents, happening. So I definitely want to talk about it, you know? And that's what I'll be talking about tomorrow. And also I want to talk about the mass shooting in Alabama that happened. So that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow as well. Yeah, now. So, all right, y'all. See, some of these red and green flags, they also can be yellow. Like proceed with caution, you know? Um they don't want marriage. They don't post you online. They tell you you're overthinking. They want space after an argument. They text you every morning but never make plans. They're still best friends with their ex. They never compliment you. They never compliment you, only your mind. They refuse to share passwords. Well, that one, I don't really care about that one. I don't think, that's. If you have to share passwords, that means you don't have no trust in your relationship. So that's kind of a red flag in itself for people that want their partner's passwords, and that should tell you something about your relationship if you need their passwords. Because maybe you shouldn't even, nobody should have a password. Because I mean, whatever. But I don't think that that's a big, thing. It shouldn't be an issue in a relationship. Because if you have trust, you don't need it. So, yeah, some of these are like yellow as well. Like proceed with caution is all about boundaries and trust. The key isn't perfection, it's awareness. If you can talk through it, then that's half the battle. Communication is the key in every relationship. So, all right, y'all. That's our red flags and green flags after dark. I love nights like this, real talk, laughter, and reflection. The truth is, we all have a little red and green in us. The goal is to grow, not to be perfect, because we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Pay attention to patterns, not promises. If it costs your peace, it's too expensive. Again, if it costs your peace, it's too expensive. If you're watching the replay, please comment your biggest takeaway or your funniest red flag moment. I'll be reading them later. Um, I hope you guys watch the replay. I did give my opinion as well, and some of, the supporters gave theirs. This was a great topic tonight, a great late night topic. So yeah, please like, subscribe, share, because you never know somebody that may need this information. There's a lot of young people that are in new relationships, just beginning to date, whether it's a female or male, that they might need this information to recognize the red flags and know when to get out. So, yes. Um, all right, my late night family. I'll see y'all next time. Sleep good and protect your peace. Remember, don't let nobody paint red flags green. Good night, y'all.